Hey there, welcome back to the table. Just making sure my video works here. Um, I had a small mistake where I named the last video that I just uploaded it. I called it part 18. It was supposed to be part 17. So some of you might have been like mid-video, and I fixed the name. My apologies if that screwed things up for you, but hopefully that'll explain where you're seeing the gap. Let's see, 4, 7. Sorry, I'm just fixing my dice for everybody. Some of this stuff I could have done before I hit record, but I don't think of it until I start looking at the game. Just typical Jeff. Okay, so we're at the bridge. So we install the bridge cards, which we do have. We are now tech level 3. Now, we were waiting to be tech level 3 for production things, so that's a good thing. And you can see here we're going to get 5 energy for it instead of 4. I would normally be very excited about that, except the jerks, we pulled the stupid food shortage, and there's no way to get rid of that card. And the food shortage is going to cost us 2 energy. This at least gets us back 1 of them. And then we have this Vindicator Cannon. So we're now ready for battle. Some story events will check if this card's in the bridge. So we will put that in our bridge upgrade and we're good to go. We do have to do our situations and resolve them. So I'll do that in a second. I just wanted to say I ended the last video with I'm not sure what to do next. Do I land on Matchstick again? Do I land on Brimstone again? And what I did is, you could call it cheating a little bit, but I went into the logbook and I looked at the log entries and just traced what would happen if you visit here 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, because you could keep landing at the same planet over and over again. And things do happen, like especially on I think it was Matchstick, the planet we were just on. You can unleash like your DNA, the human DNA of Earth, is actually toxic to their ecosystem. And so then you get this mission where you have to basically save the planet. And so you're saving the natural species from getting killed by the toxicity of your own DNA that's being spread throughout the planet. It's just a bunch of dice checks, and eventually you succeed. You'll get a lot of discovery points. You get a lot of success points. So it's possible you could potentially get up to 6 success points. But it's nothing like that progresses the game in a meaningful way. Like you're going to get new research projects or anything like that. So I think it's there. It's available, and we could do it. And it's a great way, I think, to get more discovery points. Stuff like that. So I'm going to opt not to do it. And I think the game is designed well from the perspective of, I think we need to do what our objective says. So as much as I just landed on Matchstick multiple times, which I'm totally cool with doing, it says we need to go to Kepler 831. And so that's what I think the game wants us to do next. And if I want to keep unlocking new things, I need to do what it tells us to do next. And I think this game is linear. Even though it looks like I can go anywhere I want, I think it's linear from this perspective. So if I want to start unlocking the things that I'm supposed to in the order that it was designed to, that's where I need to go. So we'll talk about that when we get to the system map. It's not easy to get to Kepler 831. That's not just a simple jump. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But in the meantime, I put in the new tech level. We got the tech upgrade, and now we need to do this phase. So right now we're going to get 3 command tokens. 1, 2, 3, and then we get a 4th one because of this, the high morale. Right? And so then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energy because of this, and then we're going to get 1 more because of the improved solar panels. So that puts us to 6. And then we also know that the cost of travel is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1, so it's never reduced to 0. So those are the things we need to know from an energy perspective. Here we would get an extra success token if we have 3 or less. We're at like 6 right now, so that's not going to happen. And then everything else is just stuff that's going to help us depending on, what happens in the game. Okay, so while we're here, we have to check and reveal our situations. So let's check them first. This one just gets shuffled back into possible situations, so that's done. This one, lower morale, which I do not want to do, or lose 2 energy. So we're going to have to spend 2 of our energy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the energy up here. And so by spending 2, that means I put them in back in the tray. So we went from having 5 energy last time to now only having 4. And then this dang thing goes into the awaiting envelope. So we keep it. It never goes away. Really, really annoying. So that goes there, and this one goes back into the possible situations. And now we shuffle, and we can, Now, what I could have done is let the morale go down, and if I knew I was going to get that card that I just had, that brings the morale right back up. So I could, keep my energy. We sort of need the energy right now because we got to travel to the Kepler 831. But here's the thing. I'm only going to draw 1 because I already have 1. And it is claustrophobia. So this one lowers morale. Otherwise, when solved, it just gets shuffled back in. So we would have to spend a command token just to make this go away. And I might do exactly that because I don't want to lose morale. Why don't I want to lose morale? Well, that gives me a command token. I'm getting 1 extra command token by having high morale. So we definitely want to keep the morale up. Alright, so 2 energy's gone. We did our new situations, and now we're going to the star map. Okay, so this one we have to fly to new places. If you end this step without a landing card in the scanner, immediately read the adrift section. And this is the part where you lower your morale, and you get a penalty token in the command pool, and bad things happen. So we don't want to end up adrift. So we do have a new landing card we're probably going to have to pull, because you always have to land somewhere. But for now, let's look at our situation. Kepler 831, or whatever it's called, is next to the MP212 system. We looked this up a couple videos ago. Now, we're not at 81 inf, we're over at this one. So I can fly to 81 inf, but not easily. I have to go to TOI2 first, and then from TOI2 I go to 81 inf. Then I can go from 81 inf to MP212. That's a lot of bounces, right? So it's going to cost 1 energy to go to 2I2, another energy to go here, so that's 2 energy. And then MP212 is 3 more, that's 5. I don't even have 5 energy. Okay, so not a very viable thing. But I noticed one other thing here. There is Iota Pegasi, which I didn't do, right? That's back here. That one, you just go read a log. You don't go to a page, which I think that's an interesting one. We should have done that when we were there. Because I don't know what that means, but it's clearly something that you don't, you're not actually landing. You're just spending 3 energy to do this, and we should have done that while we were landing at Brimstone, for example. So we didn't do that. We should have done that. One of the things I could do is fly back to here and then do exactly that, and then land at Brimstone because we know what to do. Do the mission real quick, fly back up, so that way we can at least get that out of the way. I'm tempted to do that. Now, the other thing is we could just fly to GYF, because you can see this is where we're at. I can go straight to GYF for 2 energy. And then it doesn't even require special equipment, where over here it does. I found that part to be interesting as well. But this Iota Pegasi is something that it has my attention, because it's just a log. And so I don't think you actually land. And in fact, we're gonna get a little cheaty here. I'm actually gonna look it up in the logbook. What does 430 say? And I'm not gonna read all the flavor text. So it's a pretty long thing. And then we go to 423. Okay, it is a new system. So it is right here. You do eventually end up here. So, and that does take you to MP212 eventually. So we'll maybe do this at some point. I don't want to get too far ahead. But this is something we could eventually do. So that's good. It's not just a log entry. So I'm less curious about it now. So what I'm thinking though is, okay, like I said, I could fly out to TOI2, back to here, and then to MP212. Or if we go to GYF4, which is on page 6, this is GYF4. Look where it goes, MP212. So this is a little bit quicker. So I can go to GYF4, and there's even a spot to land here called Everstorm. So we can do a landing here, and then we could do MP212 after. So this is sort of like we gotta come here, stop, we'll do a landing, and then we'll get our energy back. And then after we get our energy back, we go and then hit MP212 after. That's a very possible thing to do. So I want to try that. So let's see. To move to GYF4, it's going to cost 2 energy. But remember, we have that ability that reduces the energy by 1 to a minimum of 1. So I only have to pay 1 energy. So I'm going to take 1 of our 4 energy and throw that in. So just for 1 energy, we're going to fly to GYF4, which that part I'm very excited about, that we had the 1 energy thing. Now, I could go straight to MP212 for just 1 energy again. As you can see, it only costs 2. But I think what I'll do is I'll stick here and we'll do Everstorm. Everstorm landing is 0 energy. Its gargantuan mounds protrude from the raging storm that covers the entirety of the planet. I don't like the fact that it's a raging storm, because it's going to mean we're going to have a bad landing. But there is a landing card we could use, and it costs 0. Of course, the landing card itself might, give us use up all of our energy. We have 3 energy left. Now, GYF4C here is a methane ice giant with a dense atmosphere. I can assign 2 crew members to gain 1 energy if I go here. And so I think I will do that. And I'm just going to pick 2 of our level 1s and just make sure, like I have this one with the muscle. We're going to send him. And then I have one, I'm just looking at the symbols here. I have and I'll send the compass. So I'm going to send both of those. So 2 people are going to be used up, and GYF4C here says assign 2 crew members to gain 1 energy. So I'm going to just take 1 energy back out of the box. So now we have 4. Now, I could do this black shard for 2, which then leaves me with 2 energy for the landing. Now, we can't do make contact because we don't have objectives 6 through 11 yet. So we're not going to do make contact. It's just a question of the Everstorm landing card, which it's L4. So I can go into the landing cards here, and we can find L4, which is actually the next one. And you could see it's 0, 1, and 1. So we only need 2 energy to read the whole card. I have 4 right now, and it's going to cost 2 to do this, so it's going to work out perfect. Because we were able to get 1 more energy from this. So it's almost like the designers designed it that way, which I'm totally cool with. Oh, I forgot my iPad. Let me pause. I got to go get it, and then we're going to spend 2 energy on this, and then we're going to spend 2 energy to reveal the whole card. So that's going to be all 4 of our energy, and then we will land at Everstorm, which I know is not our next. Okay, here we are. We're going to do log 205.
Science section report. The analyzed sample is most likely a chunk of a hypothetical astronomical object, a black dwarf. If we could confirm this, it's proof that dead stars may cool enough to match the CMB temperature. It's an important discovery for astronomers, but of little significance to our mission. We will try to answer some other questions. How did this fragment end up in the planetary system? Why is there only part of it? Where's the rest of the black dwarf? We surmise that it's because there was a collision between the black dwarf and an object of a comparable size, but we don't have any proof to back up this theory. Additionally, the supposed black dwarf is made of rare materials, and it could be safely mined. Excluding cosmic rays, there's no radiation there.
Alright, we gain a success token. Then you may assign a crew member of rank 2 or 3 to gain 1 mineral discovery and move it to gathered discoveries. Okay, so it did specifically say rank 2 or 3. So I got to be careful here because I like to take rank 2 members on the mission. So let's make sure there's a security and a recon, a science, and that's another security. So I got 2 security. I have 2 science. There's 2 recon. I don't have a level 2 engineer, do I? Oh, I got 1 level 2 engineer. So it's definitely not going to be an engineer that's going. And yeah, so I got to send a security, a recon, or a science. So which one am I going to send? I wish I knew what was on the lander card. Because then we can make sure that we send the right symbols. So my thoughts are is I don't want to necessarily send the veteran, because we could use the veteran for the extra symbols. What is my 2? Okay, so I got a veteran Riku, so I'm going to send Vukajlo. So I'll send him. And then, yes, what we do is he goes into the resting pile, and we're going to gain a mineral discovery for this. So that's the part I'm happy about. And there we go. We got a radiating crystal. It's a during dice check thing, but we're not going to do that. So I'll just add it to our pile. I don't remember where I put our pile. Oh, there it is. And so we're good to go there. So I'm going to take back our guys. We definitely have a level 2 crew that can go land. I could send a level 1 crew because I think we determined that I still have room for a level 2 promotion. And the answer is no, I don't have room for... I have room for an engineer to promote to level 2 because it looks like I'm 1 short on the engineers. Everybody else has 3. Engineers, I only have 2. So, anyways, we did that. I'm okay with that. It's nice to get a mineral discovery for 2 energy. And then we're going to do Everstorm. So we will land here, and we will do the planetary scanner phase, and I'm going to go ahead and close this book. So, very good to go there. Pretty cool system. I do like the way these parts integrate together. They did a good job with this. I am going to pay everything, so I think this is silly. I'm not going to use this. We're just going to flip over the card. So I paid all the energy, right? I paid the 0 and the 1 and the 1, so we're just going to flip over the card. Okay, so obviously we're going to have a briefing. There's hurricane winds and energy storms, so you need agility and comms, just like the last time. Which, by the way, these are the 2 things we don't have hardly any of. Frequent checks, it looks like it's eyeball and muscle. The biomes are the rock and the pinwheel. And then the global conditions, unpredictable weather. Prepare for an extended stay on the surface. Prepare for A damage rolls. So, okay. I'm not surprised. I might end up with some injuries on this one. We'll find out. And that's it for star map. We should be done. Now we move here to do this. I am going to spend 1 command token to do the situation. And we're going to get rid of claustrophobia. And as you can see, all it does is get rid of the card. And getting rid of that card, though, is good because it keeps our morale up. So 1 command token. So that way next time we will get another command token. So basically, we lost the command token this round, but we preserved it for future rounds. So then we got research and production. I'm not even sure I can do anything in research, so that's the part I want to check real quick. We may not have anything to do. So we could do a barracks. So like right here with research, yeah, there is stuff we could do because I wanted to get stuff to be able to discover these. I think we can do research. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 1. We'll come here to research, and we got this improved landers. And I know you got a glare there, but it says I need 2 mineral discoveries and 1 alien tech. Oh no, I don't think I got an alien tech. So let's see. We have, here's the 2 minerals. Oh, we do have an alien tech right there. And that's the only alien tech. See, now this one, I could have gotten rid of the rare microorganism to get 1 random discovery of any type. I just don't know what, it's random though. I couldn't pick which one. And then this one, nope. Okay, so the good news is I was able to keep my rare and ultra rare, and we got a lot of live specimens, but we're basically out of everything else. Now here, I could do this one up here, but that costs 2 mineral discoveries and 2 alien techs, and I did not have 2 alien techs. And it's a lander mod, a facility upgrade, and equipment, so a lot of cool stuff, but I did not have what it took. But, oh, I'm sorry, we got these. We just got these too. We got a swollen fly trap. I definitely don't want another live specimen. This one, when I unloaded it, I could have gotten 2 command, but I'm going to keep the rare. I got another rare mineral, and then yet another live specimen. And then here, I could get a random again. So random is still, it's unpredictable. Like if I was able to exchange this for an alien tech, I would have done that, but a random one, I'm not so sure. But I have so many live discoveries right now. I do have a rare already, so that would be my second rare. So like I'm tempted to, like when we were supposed to do this when we unloaded, and I didn't, of course. Just making sure you understood, I actually have a lot more. Now, one thing that I feel safe doing is, for example, here's all the research projects. And of course, the ones that you see here with this side up are the ones that we've done already. So we've completed, quite a few research projects. These are the research projects we have not done. So I'm not going to read the back, which is like what we get when we do the research. I'm looking at the front. So see here, rare and rare. There's a free one. One of each type. Ultra rare. Right there. And then 2 rare. So my obsession with holding on to the rares and ultra rares, I think you can see is it's going to pay off, right? Because there's a lot of rares coming up where you need a rare of something. So, yeah, I think I'm making the right choice. That's all I'm doing. I didn't want to read them. I don't want to see what they do. I just wanted to verify that my obsession with holding on to these rares and not spending them is a good choice, and I believe it is. So, yeah, those rare discoveries that I can hand in and then get a ultra rare, or I'm sorry, a random of something else, I'm not going to use those. I'm going to keep the rare. And then here, what I really like is I was able to spend 2 regular minerals instead of one of my rare ones, and then the alien tech. So those are spent. And bear with me, I have to shuffle them back into the deck. The mineral discovery deck is getting pretty small. I didn't think I had that many, but I guess I have a few. And then the alien tech discovery was interesting because we were getting a bunch of those in the beginning, and I was like, yeah, I don't need any more. And now I'm feeling like, man, I wish I had more. That's the way it always works. And there's a lot of these, of course. And we haven't even come close to seeing all the different discoveries that are out there. And I haven't really peeked at the decks. But before I forget, we completed this one. So we got improved landers. Very happy with that. And here we go. We got the following production projects, C-16 and C-17, the Dragonfly and the Faustschlag. Okay, I'm excited about that. So this is done. We'll add it to our research projects that are completed. And then production C-17 and 18. Oh, I'm sorry, 16 and 17, I think is what they said. Because the 18 is the improved Space Ranger, which that sounds cool because our Space Ranger right now is the one we're using all the time. So an improved Space Ranger's got to be better, right? You would hope so. I'm just checking real quick. 16 and 17, yep. So that's the ones we did, 16 and 17. Sorry, I got components that have fallen and they can't get up. All right, there we go. All right, so here's the two new production projects, Faustschlag and the Dragonfly, and it looks like we can get these started right away. I'm very excited about these, and so I still have 2 command tokens. I actually want to get these production projects going, so I'm going to use them both for production. So let's go to production, and we got here a tech level 3 requirement that I'm going to pull out because we can now build this. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 production projects we can get started. So let's see how many of these we can get going here. So for the first one, we gained our new production projects. That's this. We're going to install the upgrades, and we don't have any to install. We're going to progress the current projects. We don't have any. Our queues are completely empty. And then we're going to start our new projects, which is what we're going to do here. Now, because I have 2 tokens, I spent one of them to do this action. Because I have another token, whatever we put in here is going to get 1 free progress because we're going to do this action twice. So what I have here is this is stage 2. I'm just going to put it over top because I want to see we got a stage 1, we got another stage 1, we have a stage 2, and then this one is... Oh, it's tech level 4. Why did I... Oh, this one's been just one of the ones we had. So this is tech level 4. We can't do this one. So there you go. We got it perfect. We're going to have 2 stage 1s and 2 stage 2s. So let me... Before I put these in, we got to put this other one. It requires tech level 4, so we got to put it in the ready for production section. And then let's get these in. So again... stage 1, stage 2. I need to get my landing party figured out. What did they say we needed? We needed arm strength and eyeball. So if I look at our level 2 guys, there's an eyeball science, arm strength recon, which is not that, but that's okay. We'll keep her. And then Riku is the only security officer we have. And that's the only engineering officer. So if those are the 4 that are going to go with us on the trip. So then it's about... Although, look, I got a shield right there. So if I want to use him to help boost production, I could send level 1 dudes down there. Do I really want to do that, though? I can't promote them to level 2. Except for the engineer, of course. Alright, so what can I do to boost these productions if I wanted to? This is a shield plus a wrench. And remember, we have no shields at all, other than that one guy I just showed you. So he's the only shield we have in the entire game. And he's a shield plus wrench. So by himself, he would be able to get the Faustschlag lander. But here's the thing. We're going to do another command token, so this is actually going to boost again. So these 2 are going to get produced before we land. These 2 won't get produced before we land. It's advanced weaponry and section suits. And I think I'm going to have to just live with that. It looks like it's going to give us, both of them are going to give us more equipment. We already have more equipment than we know what to do with. But yeah, this one here, though, is science plus computer, and I think I can do that one. So here's science, and there's computer, right? So we can just land these two guys, and so I'll do that. And so this production is happening now. That's ready now. This one here is just DNA. So I'm going to go down, and we got to have a DNA. We do. It's one of our level 2 guys. She has DNA, so I'm going to go ahead and put her into the resting pile. And then we're going to move this up. So this will finish this turn now. And then I just can't do this one because these are both shields. So it was very smart of me to put both of these in that queue because they both require shields, so they're not going to be able to move. And I don't need to push this one any further because, like I said, this command token is going to push them both. So I have all these guys left, and that's fine. They'll just all go in the resting pile. And with our extra command token, we're going to then get both of these also produced, and then this is going to go here. Now, there is a possibility that this first one that we produced, it doesn't, see, it's not creating a another production project. If it did, then I could have put it into the queue. That's all I'm trying to say is, like, if it created another production project, because remember, we had one more command token. It did not. So let's, now that we're done with that, we'll resituate the camera, and let's look at this one. So we get the A13, additional rocket booster lander mod, and the Dragonfly lander card. I am so excited. I hope these are good. A13. And if I remember correctly, extra landers was part of like a stretch goal. I don't know if these are the landers or if those are in Wave 2. If somebody knows, just let me know. I would assume these landers would have been part of the base game, but who knows. After step 1 of the landing procedure, progress the landing track one space to the right. That's a utility. Oh, so that's really good for like the Pelican, right? Because that's one less. Basically, you get one free progress, but it takes up one of your utility slots. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I'll put that here. And oh, we get the what did it say? It was the Dragonfly, right? Yes, I believe it was. I got them mixed in with the oh, this is going to be a wonderful ship. Oh my gosh. I think this is going to be perfect. Look at this. 044. Isn't that amazing? So this is really high, and that's going to help us for like that last planet would have been perfect. And here it's going to carry one more equipment. I'm comparing this to Space Ranger now. Space Ranger has 2 armor. So this is not as good as a Space Ranger. This blows the Space Ranger out of the water. This is better than the Space Ranger because this is 5. Space Ranger is 4. This is the same. That's the same. That's the same. This is the same. That's less. Okay, so that's the part that hurts. You get one less discovery. Aha. But, holy cow, you got a really safe landing going on with that. I like it. The Dragonfly is pretty posh. All right, and then we got the Falschlag. So let's look at this one. Move the following card to the awaiting. We get the Falschlag lander card, and then we get this E61 equipment. Holy cow, that's a high numbered equipment. So E61 is here. And this one is a pod launcher. Place a launcher token and pad in your sector. Crew members in a sector with both the launcher and pod tokens are considered to be in the lander sector for the purpose of any rules. They may also exhaust a die card, discard the pod token, and flip this card to place one non-unique discovery from the lander board in gathered discoveries. Okay, so if I understand this correctly, what this thing is it counts as being in a lander section for the purposes of any rules, and that's including taking off. but you have both the launcher and the pod. But in addition, you can spend a die, discard the pod, which means you're no longer counted to be in a lander sector, but you can send a non-unique discovery up into space, so basically it doesn't count towards your limit. So, like this Dragonfly only carries 4 discoveries, but if you take this piece of equipment, now you can actually still get 5 discoveries because you can launch this pod. That's how I understand this. That's an interesting one. So it lets you get an extra discovery, or could let you be really deep in the jungle and you don't have to go all the way back to the lander. Oh, and then we got to get the Faustschlag. That sounds like an interesting one. All right. Okay, yeah. So this is also looks like a good ship, but in an other different way. The Faustschlag has a buttload of armor, but then, is pedestrian in this category. That's the same. That's the same. This is higher. So you could get a mod that does this and this. So that could go to 3 and that could go to 3. So you could go 5, 3, 3. This is higher and that's the same. But it's like the Pelican. You got a buttload of successes you need to do. Oh, man. Well, the fact that you could be 5, 3, and 3, you might be able to do this no problem. That last mission we run, you needed a value of 5 to avoid the penalties. So a 5, 3, 3 would still get you the penalties, and there's a lot of penalties you could be racking up before you get to the end. But I still like it. I still like Pizza Steve. I think both of these are excellent additions. So very glad to have made those. And the pod launcher thing, of course, makes that one really cool. And then we got this one, section equipment or section suits. So we're going to add E24, 25, 27, and 30. So we're going to get another set of suits. It looks like 24, 25, 27, and 30. Oh, so these are specific to each class. Whenever you gain a lead during a dice check, gain 1 additional lead. How often do you gain leads during dice checks? Not very often. I think you get a lead like here. Like if you match this symbol, you can, possibly get a lead that way. I don't know how useful that is. Ignore all wounded and critically wounded injuries. Okay, that could be pretty impressive. You can just, barrel through, and it doesn't matter if you roll danger dice. That actually could be really good. Exhaust a blue or 2 of any color to reroll a danger die. All right. It could be helpful. I mean, you're definitely losing a lot of dice, but that's better than getting like a burning effect. Still suit. Whenever you exert, refresh 1 more die. So basically, you're sacrificing a die, and normally you get back 5 dice. This would let you get back 6. Yeah, I'm not super keen on that, but it's still more choices for you whenever you land and take off and do all those things. So from that perspective, it's good. Okay. I think we are good there, so we're going to move on. We didn't do the barracks. We did do the situation room. Next, we go to the lander section. Now, I can only have 4 landers, so like this Pelican is turning into a piece of crap. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do the Pelican, just because there's never a planet that's calm enough for me to do it. And it looks like if I were ever to get another lander, which one do I upgrade? I mean, I guess I would be replacing the Pelican, I would think. Now, there is like the Space Ranger lander gets upgraded, but it says basic lander do not remove. So I can't ever remove the Space Ranger. So it's only these other ones. And yeah, I know I'm cheating again, but I'm going through the list. We got this Waygate lander, and we have the Void Ranger. This is the upgraded Space Ranger. And those are the only two extra landers I think the game has. So there's two more to go. This one is a weird one where you're teleporting. So that's why there's no progress bar at the bottom. So to choose this lander, you must discard an alien tech or a mineral discovery from your gathered discoveries, and then during the landing procedure, you immediately land. So you have to discard a discovery to be able to land this thing, but you skip all the weather, you skip all the dice rolling, everything. You just land immediately. So you take no structural mods, but you get to take 3 utility. The supplies aren't very big, and this is the same as a Space Ranger, but you do get a healthy amount of this. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I think this is expensive, but that's an interesting one. We obviously don't have this discovered yet, so we can't use that, of course. And then this one is the upgraded Space Ranger. So that's a point higher, that's a point higher, and that's a point higher. So 1 point higher across the board. It's probably the most balanced one. And this is 1 higher, that's 1 higher, and that is 1 higher. So, and then this is also 1 higher. So far it's just incrementally better in every way. This one's the same. The only difference is that this is worse. So you need more successes to land successfully, but you got a slightly better everything else. And the fact that you only bring 1 structural mod means you're still only boosting 1 of these. But I still think it's decent. Like, it's definitely better than... Now, the thing with the Pelican is, you got the 9 supplies, but it's making it so the Pelican is not nearly as useful, which right now it hasn't been. So, as you know, we now have to pick our lander. So, the card states that we need agility and comms. So, I'm thinking, why not take the Dragonfly, which has agility and comms, right? The only drawback is the Dragonfly... so, this is the same that we currently have. We can only bring 2. There is the 1 utility mod that lets you bring 1 more, so we can bring a 3rd one. So we might do that. I am able to bring 1 extra equipment, so I think we'll take advantage of that. The supplies are the same, so we're good to go there. This actually lands quicker than even the Ranger does, so it's better than the Ranger in this regard. So that's our situation. The Felschlag, I think, is a great one, except it's only 1 and 1, and so this isn't like ideally suited for this particular planet. And then of course the Pelican, as you can see, is still, I don't know if it's going to handle it at all. So I think the Dragonfly is perfectly suited for this. The only issue is we can only bring back 4 discoveries instead of the 5. And we've always hit our limit so far. Like, we're discovering more than 5 discoveries every time, and now it's even 1 less. I think what I'll try to do is bring that pod. That would let us bring a 5th discovery back. So that might be worth doing. But the fact that the Dragonfly has high comms and high agility, that might be worth doing. So for this particular planet, the log is 60. So I'm going to look at it in the book, see if the chart's in there, and it is. And so here you could see this is what we're going to be up against. So the uncontrolled flight is the first one there. And you can see you can ignore the turbulence, and you return 3 random equipment cards reduced by the agility. So as long as your agility is 3, you're immune to it. So as long as all you need is 3. And just so you know, we could get to 3 with even the Space Ranger. So the Pelican can get to a 2. So the Pelican would not be as good. And then here, each crew member just exhausts 3 dice, which is the alternative. So if you can get to 3 agility, this doesn't hurt you at all. Now, the Gale Force 6 each crew member exhausts 5 dice, reduced by, again, the agility. So if you had 5 agility, you can ignore that. Currently, we have 4. The Space Ranger has 2, which we can increase to 4. So in this case, you would lose 1 die if you had the Space Ranger. Now the Felschlag, yeah, that's just a 1-1. So that's not a good idea, because so far agility is king. Here you need comms, and the comms for the Space Ranger is 1. If it's 2 or fewer, each crew member gets a burn injury. If it's 3 or more, each crew member sacrifices a die. Or you can reroute energy, return 2 random equipment cards, or lose 2 supplies. This is awful, because even if your comm is high, you still get a negative effect. And then here, if your comm is 3 or more, looks like you progress the landing track twice. So you can land quicker. So this EMP thing is the only bad one. It does say if your lander has 4 comm and 5 agility, place a marker on the landing successful space and go to step 4. Basically you don't have to do the check at all. And so that's what we want, 4 and 5. So the Dragonfly is the winner, chicken dinner. We can do that in a heartbeat. I know. I get it. Some of you, I think, are purists, and you'd be like, Jeff, why didn't you just land and let the game surprise you? Because that's part of the fun. And you might be right. It's just not. It's not me. So I get it, and I'm not faulting anybody for thinking that way. I want information, and I believe that if I paid the energy, which I did, to get the information about this planet, I want to know what that information means. So maybe if I didn't pay the energy for the planet, then I would let it surprise me. Because that one planet where we didn't pay the information, I think it was like Brimstone. I don't think it would have been fair to look at the chart before you selected your lander, because then, yeah, you're getting information that was on that landing card that you should have been paying energy to receive. So, anyways, I could be rationalizing right now, but I do think that could be like a fair line that you can thematically draw. But yeah, I was leaning towards the Dragonfly no matter what. It's just that, like, what exactly do you need for values? I mean, you can make these numbers go up to 10. Is that going to be enough? You just never know. So in this case, I know that the agility needs to be 5, whereas the comms only need to be 4. So we're going to give them what they wanted. And I'm just shuffling some cards and getting ready for the landing. So we have to choose our lander, we have to customize the lander, and so forth. So the one thing that I have is, of course, I have the Space Ranger one out, and I need to go get... I have to actually stand up for this. So the Pelican lander is on one side, and then the Dragonfly is on the other. So we're going to do the Dragonfly lander, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick it right over top of the other one, because I really think the Space Ranger lander is still a pretty good one. So let's get everything off of here. And of course it's going to look different. So here's the Dragonfly. We'll put it over top of the Space Ranger. The Dragonfly starts here, and it has 6 supplies just like the Space Ranger does. So you got the little token up there and a token there. So we were doing the nav console, and this one increases the supplies by 1 and lets us take 1 more equipment. So I'm going to increase the supplies to 7. And I am going to pick a different structural mod. This one lets you get 1 boost to the right. I'm not going to use that yet because we only get to take 1 utility. And the only drawback with this is the discovery maximum is 4. So that part blows. Alright, so I'm going to move to the lander modules. And we have all these wonderful modules here available. I'm moving the camera a little bit to get rid of that glare. So this was the nav console one, and I'm going to replace it with the agility one because we learned we need the agility to be 5. So this gives +1 agility. It's a structural, and you can see we have a lot of utility ones. In fact, all utility except for this. And then we just got another utility that I'm adding. So the utility that we're currently using is the +1 supplies and +1 equipment. Now, one thing I am considering is there's this one that just says +1 discoveries and +1 supplies. Because here's the deal. The +1 equipment, I would take that pod equipment that lets me do +1 discoveries. Right, that little pod thing that you can launch, that's what I was planning on bringing. So why not just do this, and then I don't have to deal with the stupid pod. That's where my mind is. And I still get the +1 supplies, which is what I was hoping for. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to swap them out. It's basically equivalents. This here would have given me +1 discovery. But for now, I'm just going to put it in. And then, yes, we're going to increase the agility by 2, which puts it up to 6, and we should have a safe landing. And now we could bring back 5 discoveries, which is no worse than the Space Ranger was. So right now, this is turning out to be a superior all-around thing, except maybe I'm taking 1 less equipment. And right now, that extra equipment that I was bringing was this, the mining probe. So I'm going to just return the mining probe to the pool. I like the mining probe, but I don't necessarily need it. At least not for this particular one. Okay, I'm very happy with the way this is turning out. So we're going to move forward. Mission launch procedure. We did clean up the planet board. I did that before I started. In fact, I'm actually on Everstorm right now, although I don't have it set up. We prepared the away team. We got our 4 people selected. I'm because they're level 2. We're going to what's the word? We're not changing our cards, so we're going to use the same set of 10 cards that we've been using. I'm very happy with the card selection. So everybody's got the same deck of cards because I keep sending rank 2 people down. If I ever go back to rank 1, of course I got to get rid of the rank 1 equipment. Or cards, I mean. And so now I do need to change the suits because with that last planet we had those awesome suits that let us move for free, but we got to make sure that the Enviro suit for this particular planet matches. So that is one thing I need to do. I'm getting out the charges. So we got Cho Young, which is our engineer, Riku. Now, Cho and Riku are both veterans, so we got 2 veterans to the mix here. Very excited to try out some veterans. Really, they don't do anything, as you know, other than they give us... all they do is just give us an extra symbol on their basic dice, but that's still better than a kick in the butt with a frozen boot or a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, right? So we got... This is done. That's done. Section dice are ready. We loaded the lander. Okay, we got to do this part. So this is the equipment. We get to bring 1 extra personal equipment. Currently, every player has 1 of these. The little helmet symbol. Every player has 1 of those. We get to bring 1 extra because this particular lander lets us bring 5. Every player gets 1 of these, which of course they have currently, and then of course this is limited to 2, and that's the reason why I put back the mining equipment. The 2 that we're using is the extra supplies and the zip line, which is a must-have. Okay, so getting back to the biomes, it looks like it's the asteroids and the pinwheel. So when we looked at the mobility suits, remember the chasm was the big thing that was helping us immensely. But look, this one's good for asteroids too. So this might still be the right suit to bring. These suits are amazing, folks. I definitely want to have the right suit. But let's look at what other suits there are. Like, we got these new suits, and you can only have one type of suit. So if, for example, like this guy who can avoid all injuries, maybe that's better than having the mobility suit. Like, and if it is, it's the only suit. See, you only can carry one. So I can only bring one. Even though I can bring an extra one of these symbols, I can only have one suit for each person. Now, I do want to try this at some point, but let's see. I need eyeballs, by the way, eyeballs and arm strength. So when I'm looking at this type of stuff, I may swap those out. But for now, none of these qualify. Scoutcraft is something I could potentially bring. It lets me move twice for one action. And I ignore the path icons. I do have to spend 2 green dice, but it's for our recon guy. I'm going to set that aside. That might be worth bringing. This stuff I can't bring because we're at our limit. Here's one to let you avoid wounds. Also, very good. So if I don't want to bring the suit, I can at least put this on. It's a one-time use, though. I'll set it aside. That's one of the symbols we're looking for. I'll set it aside. Okay, here's another suit. No pinwheel, no what's the word? Meteor. Asteroid. Although, look, there was the nature thing. Remember that last planet had nature? But this one's roll 1 less injury die. So it protects you from injury dice. It doesn't protect you from movement. So then we got this protective suit. There's the pinwheel. When you roll a danger die in these sectors, you may exhaust 2 dice to ignore the effect. See, this is painful, but you do get to avoid the injury. I think I like the ones that we have. These stimulants, medvac drone, a jetpack is just like the Scoutcraft, but not as good. Can't bring that. Yeah, that's it. So I think I'm pretty happy then with where we're at suit-wise. I do like that. This is the only thing I can swap out. That's a wrench and a computer, and the one he currently has is a pickaxe and a shield. Like, I don't know which one's better. I'm keeping it on the pickaxe and shield, but this could be better, potentially. But, so I'm going to leave the suits the way they are. They do match the crater. And I love the idea of being able to move for free. So, what was I going to say? Now, this particular planet, though, look at the travel on this one. That travel is exhaust a die or roll an injury die to move to a connected sector. That is not do a dice check and then any colored die counts. So this particular suit, when we move for free, you can see it adds 1 die to your travel action dice check. Or ignore 1 icon on the path. You know what? That would let me ignore that. Yes, that would work. That would work. Because this is considered to be that's considered to be on the path. So it would still work. Okay, so I think I do need to look at, do I want to use this energy shield, which gives me the muscle? What does he currently use? He uses this physical enhancer, which also gives the muscle. So I'm going to keep, I am zoomed in a little bit too much here. I think this is the one he's equipped with. This one looks nice, but I'm going to keep the one he's equipped with. So this is nice, but we're going to pass on this. And, we do get to bring 1 extra thing, but that 1 extra thing is definitely going to be the Scoutcraft. I think that's a really cool one. So I'm going to give that to the recon guy. And we should be good to go. Oh, I was contemplating putting on the suit that ignores all wounds to the security officer. So he would not have the mobility suit, and instead... Uh-oh. How do I have an extra? Oh, I took the one from the engineer away. Sorry. So good thing there. I want to get... So this one, no. That one I'm thinking yes. So he ignores all wounded and critically wounded injuries. So, but he still gets the injuries. He just ignores the effects. Oh, that's not as good. It just means that when you roll the dice and the dice trigger, you don't have to do what it says. You know what? I'm going to keep the mobility suit even when the security guy. This was a nice option to possibly bring along, but I'm okay. Boy, you could over-analyze, AP this thing, analysis paralysis. I mean, look how thick the deck is now. These are all the options I did not bring with me. Look at all the choices you have. That gets insane. And my gosh, if I was here in a 4-player game, we'd be passing these around, and obviously some of them are section specific, so they would have those in front of them. But my goodness, this would be a cluster bomb of of analysis paralysis. Should I bring this? I don't know. Okay, so the rest go in the armory. I want to also point out, like somebody mentioned that this equipment's not with the section person yet. Like all this equipment is on the lander because it could get damaged before you land. I totally understand. I divide it out, and if the lander causes me to damage equipment, I just damage it straight from their inventory. So I think most people who've made it this far in the video understand that. I got people who are starting my series, and of course they're commenting on like part 1, part 2, and I am seeing comments of that nature. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Boy, no matter how much I feel like I've done this set of procedures, I'm an hour in. Like, I just can't get this to be less than a video to do the ship phase. It's a full video of hour-long jibber-jabbering. And I guess if you're by yourself and you don't have to talk to the camera, you can maybe cut 20 minutes. I still think you're going to sit here with analysis paralysis and at least, internally be going through these thoughts. Prepare the planet board. I got to do that. Then we're going to disembark. I did not need to prepare the planet board. We got to do the log briefing. That's the part I skipped. See, you start to think you need to skip, and then... So... Alright, the log for this one is 60. Oh, I don't have my stand up.
Captain's log, entry D432.
Despite many findings gathered on Palisade, our first exploration of the world marked by the Builders was hardly the success we'd hoped. The contact with extraterrestrial intelligence still eludes us, and I'm afraid this new world we're about to explore will change little in that regard. It's hard to imagine an environment more hostile to life. A giant cold planet with a thick, super-rotating atmosphere. The never-ending storm lashes the surface of basalt and glass and carries razor-sharp shards with velocities capable of shredding anything in their path.
Well, that sounds cool.
Yet a set of incredible structures extends past the planet's stratosphere, like claws reaching out from the storm. And each of these claws, made of an unidentified substance, is several kilometers long and wide enough to break apart the winds, creating small pockets we could potentially explore. And explore them we will. No one aboard Vanguard has the faintest idea how structures like that could occur naturally.
That's because they didn't, Chief. Does your lander have at least 4 comms and 5 agility? Hail to the YES. Yes, we're on landing successful, space. We landed successfully. Woohoo! I can't tell you enough of how much joy that brings me. Alright, so we go to 1011 on Planet Storm. Open the book. Perform begin planetary exploration procedure. Alright, that's where we are. And so planetary exploration procedure is the page I was just trying to get to. So we got to prepare the planet board. In case, some of you are, wondering, I am going to end this video before we actually, take our first action on the planet. All I'm going to do is get through this and set up the planet. I'm going to get to the part where we're ready to take our first turn, and then I'm ending the video. And it's already late at night and my battery's low, so I won't be doing any more tonight. I do have a 3-day weekend, so tomorrow morning I plan to get started after breakfast. But until then, I will not be doing this planet. I'm just going to set it up and then end the video. So for those of you that are ready to skip ahead, go ahead and do so. Okay, so we're going to prepare the planet board. I don't need to shuffle the discovery decks. I sort of do that as we go. I do have to shuffle the event deck, which we almost went completely through in that last game. And let's see. We got the injuries ready. That's good. I need to populate the right side of the planet board with listed mission cards and global condition cards. And yeah, we got to get a new planet record sheet going. I'm using just a note card. So here you can see for Pellucid, Palisade, or however you want to pronounce it, we did this. So for Brimstone, this is section 1. It has P010. So I got my point of interest cards written down. And then for Matchstick, this is the condition that we left it on. So this is section 1, 2, 3, 5, and 4. I know these are out of order, but it was just based on how I read it on the board. And then I actually stored the point of interest card with the lander card, so I can pull them out easily. The one thing I did do is, for example, this one's a P000, which is a shared card. You see that one come up a lot. I did not store that with the lander. I have it written down so we don't forget it, but it's with all the other ones. I don't know. There's a possibility I may need 5 P000 cards, and I don't want to be going through the lander cards to find it. For this, there's nothing really to write down yet because we gotta get to the point where where we're leaving the planet. But yes, what I'll do is I just create a new row, and so far this system is working really, really well. I'm just writing it down all in one line, and then this is just a section and the point of interest. So I'll write Everstorm here, and then put their stuff once we figure that out. So event deck is shuffled. Everything else is ready. Now the right side of the board, this part's interesting. The global card is already set for us. So here you can see with a shield, you can move all accidents to your spent pool. All dice checks gain the following special effect. Accidents equals roll the danger die. So accidents are very dangerous on this one. We got to get mission 50. I need to do that now. But the other thing I wanted to point out to you is that the discoveries, this slot will be used by the planet's special rules. So there is no unique discoveries to place on this one. So I find that one curious. And M50 is Life in the Storm. Explore the planet looking for signs of advanced life forms. And then when you fulfill the objective, you'll be asked to discard this mission. Excuse me. So we got that there. The lander will disembark, but we now have a new lander. So this is the Dragonfly, which looks like this. That's the Dragonfly. So I'm going to put this on, where's our lander sector? Right here. You always look for that symbol right there. So Dragonfly is going to land there. And then our Space Ranger is still excellent. So I'm just going to set him off to the side. We actually have our ISS Vanguard as well. I guess they gave you the miniature, but you don't really use it. I think, somebody accurately stated you don't use the miniatures, period. They're just really for looks. Not much else. Now, we do have, for example, we also unlocked the Falschlag, which I believe is this one. Or that one might actually be the Pelican. And then we have this one here. This one's the Falschlag, I think. Yes. This is the Falschlag. And then this is the Pelican. So we got all of those unlocked. And they're here for their glory. They're sitting in our injury dice pool, waiting to be selected. Alright. What else we need to do? We need to get the rank up card. And I think that's it. Let's figure out our rank up card. Personal equipment gets divided up. See, we already did that ahead of time. Yeah. So let's figure out the rank up. Shuffle. Alright, so here we go. 1, 2. The first one. At the end of the planetary exploration, flip this card if you have 3 live specimen discoveries. I don't want to pick it just because I have so many live specimens already. Also, they said this planet should be devoid of life. So, the other one is examine a fossil. So on see that little rock there, the asteroid? That's one of the most common symbols on this planet. So we should be able to do this. So on a sector with any of these biomes, we can do a dice check. We need a axe, DNA, and science, and then we flip this card if we do that. I'm going to take that one, actually. That one's doable. And then, like I said, I don't really want live specimens. So if there's anything I have an abundance of right now, it's that one. Not to say that I don't want them later. It's just, I'm sure we'll burn through them. But now what's funny is, look right here. This says gain 1 live specimen lead. So is this planet going to give me a lot of live... Oh, look at this over here. Gain a live specimen lead. So it looks like this planet gives out live specimens. Oh, there's a lot of asteroids too. We'll leave it at that. And remember, everybody's ranked 2. So unless I get 6 success tokens, I don't need to bother wasting my time with this rank up card. So that's one of the things we can, take to the bank maybe. All right. So, yeah, we're good to go. I'm going to be able to shut the book, and I will end the video here. And we will get started. And like I always do, the recon will go first because he has the zip line. And we are going to start here on the jagged crest. So I'll just put all 4 guys here. I'll worry about all of what it says when we start the next video. I do got to get rid of the wounded cards from the previous run. So I'm doing that right now. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.